There you go. Alrighty, today we're gonna go over and I'm gonna be just drawing random sketches in my sketchbook. And you know what? I'm gonna talk my way through it, and I will impose, and you'll learn from it basically, kind of through osmosis. It's funny too, because like osmosis is probably one of the biggest things that I had learned, as far as like one of the biggest things that helped my learning was getting near and watching other artists kind of do what they do. That was invaluable for me. Like I can't tell you how insanely invaluable. Look at this pen here is, I can't draw with it that quick. That's one of the downsides to this, where I kind of wanted to draw a little bit quicker, but I just couldn't do it. But I'm gonna try it right now. I'm just gonna draw like a skull with some horns, aiming downward, and I'm gonna try to draw it a little bit quicker than I normally do. But let me get back to the osmosis thing. So I remember when I was in art center and I was around a lot of talented people, and it wasn't enough for them to just be talented, right? There's plenty of talented people you're all over the place. I think what really stood out to me was that they were talented at the exact same kind of art that I wanted to get good at, and that was super important, right? Like right now, kind of in my area right now, there's a lot of fine artists, there's a lot of animation people, and those can be absolutely great, by the way, absolutely amazing, but it's a different kind of art, right? The skill sets are a little bit different. A lot of it is more on motion, on simplicity of line, on making things fluid, which are all valuable, right? Those are all valuable traits, but it's not the concept art style and drawing fantasy kind of characters that I really like doing, right? With these like detailed oriented things. Thanks for the likes, by the way. I appreciate it. It's so you kind of have to like, you don't have to find these people, but it helps you if you find certain people that are good at the exact same kind of art that you're good at, that you want to become good at. You were getting to those subdivisions, and it's kind of hard to do that. I haven't been able to find that where I'm living, so it's just not feasible. I guess the cool part is you can go online, add them to your Discord, and that can always be like, a substitute. You have these people online, and some people can do it from that, some people can't. But I remember sitting right next to, classmates when I was up in art center, and it was like shocking, right? How good someone was. It was like shocking. I remember being like surprised, and this person's like sitting right next to me, right? And that does something to your psyche. It basically says, I don't know. I mean, if I was to translate it, it kind of just made me feel like, hey, I've been talking to this person for a while. He's a classmate. He's human. If he can do that, I can do that, right? And that was kind of the way, I kind of saw it pretty much. I was like, man, I can do whatever this other person can do. All right, we got the head in right there. Pretty, typical shape right there to a skull. How do I make it a little bit more unique? I'm thinking like the horns, right? That's, slightly unique. And by the way, when I say unique, it doesn't have to be the most original thing on earth. You just want to change it up a little bit. I would say this horn's a little bit too thick compared to this one. So what can we add here? I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can go. I'm going to give him a little bit of some tusk there. That's a little bit original-ish, slightly, but not fully. Let's give him actual eyes here, so his eyes are in there. He's not totally a skull. He's more of like a Skeletor kind of dude. Let me see, something like this. And I'm just loosely drawing this in, right? I'm not even drawing this in that carefully. I'm just kind of putting a shape there, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That'll work for now. What can I do with this guy? Let me zoom out a little bit, okay? I'm going to zoom out just a bit. All right, let's zoom out. How do I zoom out? Dang. Okay. Let's pull out over here. And, like, right now, this is just more of like a relaxation drawing time. Okay. I don't like the way this horn looks compared to that one. It should be a little bit more curved for some evenness. You either want to like try to match them or you want to have one completely off because then it's going to look like it's asymmetry on purpose. So I'm probably going to, I don't know. There's not a whole lot I can do with this. I'll see. I'll figure it out. I'm probably going to make one like really cracked, like right here. And then that'll kind of make it a little bit more unique. Not even going into details yet, right? I'm just kind of floating around ideas. What else? Maybe we can draw a bunch of little things and then we start going into detail in later ones. So let me see right here. I just scribbled this over here. So what would this be? I'm trying to think of an animal. Maybe like a gorilla. No, let's stick to this head for now, and then we'll sort it out. Okay, let's just say this thing's gonna be on fire, right? Let's just say that. This guy's gonna be a little bit on fire right there. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Yeah. Thanks for the share, by the way. A little bit of fire right there. And so we're just drawing that out. Now I'm like, okay, I want to get rid of, I got an eraser right here, a needed eraser. I'm going to get rid of the pencil lines that were kind of like my scaffolding right there. Sorry if the whole thing moves. Forgive me. There we go. See over here. Let's get rid of this. All right. Now we're looking at them a little bit more cleanly. And I'm thinking, all right, let's zoom in and like, you know, let's flesh out the face a little bit. Let's give him some more detail. Okie doke. Let's give him some muscles right here, right? Even though the skull making that sort of thing, expression, right, makes no sense because that's not supposed to move. This is bone. Alrighty. Going over here. All right. And I'm kind of, like I said, this is like just random off the cuff kind of stuff, right? This is just me goofing off. Okay, let me talk a little bit more about Art Center while I'm doing this, and I'll kind of go back and forth. What would his pupils be? I guess his pupils would have to be kind of slit pupils in a way. And he's kind of amused, but not so amused, right? Has anybody ever seen Skeletor? Has seen He-Man from, that He-Man movie from the 80s. I guess I'm thinking like Skeletor. And I'm trying to give him a semi-realistic expression. Like he's just like I'm annoyed, right? I'm not trying to do anything spectacular or anything like that. Because I think one facial expression I'm a big fan of is, how do you say it? When they're like upset, when they're mad and yelling. I love that facial expression. It looks cool. It looks like they're going to attack. Thank you for the likes, by the way, whoever that is. I can't tell who it is. And we haven't even put anything down, anything solid, I would say, either. A lot of the stuff I'm doing right now, pretty wiggly, right? And I could leave it loose like that. I could leave it wiggly, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, tighter and tighter and tighter if you'd like. It just kind of depends on what mood you're at if you're just sketching around like this. And, at some point, I'm kind of thinking, all right, we'll do the same thing we do in other ones. Like, what would be the story of this guy? I don't know. He looks like a goat man, like undead dude, maybe. He came back, but he doesn't look that zombie-like either, though. He looks like he can think, right? It looks like he could put together a sentence, I think. Maybe. It just depends. Could be a henchman of some kind. Draw some of the teeth there, but, make him a little bit craggly. And right here, all I'm doing, see, by the way, keep in mind, I'm just kind of scratching around, right? I'm just kind of scratching around. And more or less, it's kind of indication, really. If you're not sure what indication is basically when you're drawing maybe like squiggly lines that are supposed to tell the viewer that there's something else. Thank you for the likes, by the way. I appreciate it. Like right now, it's almost indication, really. You're just kind of scratching around. And even I don't feel like that's ultra solid, like get in there, really get in the grooves and stuff like that. Even I don't feel that yet. There's a little muscle right here. I forget what it's called. I'm going to teach it in my drawing lesson whenever I finally come out with that thing. But I'm going to teach it there, some of the muscles of the face, because when you get mad or you make an expression, there's a little bump right about here. What is this? All right. All right, go over here. And again, we're just kind of scratching around. The more, scratching, I wouldn't say the more scratching, the better, but it adds to something like this, right? This guy is craggly, right? He's craggly, so let me zoom out a little bit right here. Let me pinch to zoom out. All right. Thanks for the likes, by the way. Again, I appreciate it. And I do think he's. Okay, hopefully I'm still there. But yeah, I moved the phone down and it just all of a sudden screwed it up. But hopefully I'm back. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Ba. Okay. Going over here now. Let's see. So that's a fun little sketch, and I could kind of work on that. I could like mess with that. I could, like a lot of that stuff is and I'm just kind of scratching out some of maybe like what the fire would be like. And a lot of this scratching, by the way, is notes to myself for later if I want to go back and like clean it up at some point, which you can do at any point, right? You're giving yourself notes. And what a good idea would be to try to make something semi-presentable, right? Bring it up kind of like all around the same level, so that later you can go back and mess with it. Okay, this guy's throwing his arm over here. What would that be? Or person. Let me think. So this guy's throwing, maybe he's crawling at something. What would that be? Maybe like a lizard man, right? I like lizard people. So maybe there's like a lizard dude. I think I might have to do the pencil a little bit. 1 second. Where's a pen? Do I have a pencil here? Yeah. Oh, I have a pencil right around here. Let's scratch in a little bit more. And then we're going to scratch in the pencil there. So let's just say he's got... Thank you for the likes, by the way. I appreciate it. Oh, my God. You're so nice, guys. Let's just say I got a lizard dude. I'm thinking of like a lizard head over here. And I'm just scribbling that in with... And you're probably not able to see this. Don't worry, I'll go into pen quickly. And he's like clawing at something. So he's got his hand on that side. I don't know. Maybe he's got like a crocodile head. But I don't want him... I don't want him like with a ton of expression right now. So I'm not going to have his mouth open. Yeah, I'll open his mouth a little bit. So I'm just scribbling junk in right now. Okay, and he will be mad, I guess. He will be mad. Again, these are just notes to myself, and we are going to jump into, since this is a sketch, over here. Let's say he's clawing at something, and he's like, okay, that's just going off the screen there. Okay, cool. I want it to be wearing clothes, though, so maybe he's wearing some sort of belt or something like that. All right. Whatever, we got enough. I got enough there to see an image in my head, and that's what I'm going to do. So going down over here. Right there. All right. Going to go over here. Going to draw a little bit of a lizard man head. And I'm thinking, all right. It's going to end about here. He needs a nostril. Something like that. And I'm just scratching it in here right now. See that? I'm just like scratching it in right now. Doing what I did over here. I'm just scratching these in, and later on I'll probably like try to clean up parts of them. Or I might leave it as is. Right? It's kind of up to me as far as like, or the time I have. Maybe I just leave it here forever. And I'm going to throw some teeth over here. All right, maybe something like that. Maybe he's opening his jaw over here. And his jaw, you can't fully see it because his arm comes in the way. And, this is cloth. So he's wearing something right on. It's getting a little bit bigger over here because there's foreshortening. All right. And let's see. Okay, let's see. You got his arm right there. All right, his shoulder is going to be something like this. But then you see the other part of his neck. It's going into right there. All right. So as far as osmosis, let me get back to osmosis again. So osmosis is great. If you don't have art friends in your neighborhood, like in person in real life, try to get them. Try to get them. It inspires you. It lets you see stuff done right in front of you. It's different than watching stuff on YouTube, because when you see stuff happen in real life, it's just completely different. It totally changes your neurology. You just start to inhabit those thoughts a little bit better when you see it in real life. I want him to have something like he was carrying like a sword or something like that on his back. Let me see. Dang, man, what's up with this thing? Let's see. These pens are amazing, but they just... Sorry about that. I want to get my hand out of the way. Boom, right here. So he's got like... Maybe the sword's not there. Yeah, I'll probably leave it like that. Okay, so we can take something like this, right? I scratched it in there. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a second here, and then I'm going to just erase some of this scribbly line I did. Just erase it. There we go. Just coat it. Sorry about that. I got my hand in the way, okay? Bear with me. Bear with me. All right. We got that. We got our little framework. Let's just say, and I haven't put the hand over there because it doesn't really fit on the screen here. But how would I go into that and be a little bit more careful? Let's just do that together, okay? So move the camera angle just a bit. Let's try to get in here and get in a little bit more careful. So that's a good idea right there. All right, let me get all up in this here. So I'm going to go into the eye, and I'm going to create a little bit more of a solid shape right there. I want it to be a little bit in darkness because it looks spookier. It gives it more focus, and I just think it looks better, honestly. I'm going to go right here. He's making the furrowing. I'm going to carry that through. Furrowing of the brow. It's a little bit of a shape that lizards have, kind of to show off the kind of front snout there. And going down over here, and I'm trying to solidify my lines a little bit more. The ear, usually it's like a slit right there on the side of the head for lizards. And I'm just going to toy with the shapes now. And I'm thinking in my head, like, where do I want this to go, really? Do I want to, like, I'm trying to think of structure now. I'm adding in structure afterward. I'm thinking, where is that far side of the eye going to be? Over there? Over here, right? I'm thinking, where is that stuff going to be? And now this is becoming a little bit of a mess right here on the head. So I'm going to have to be delicate and be like, what can I throw in to maybe creates a little bit more of a tension over here? So I'm going to give him a little bit more scales to kind of start figuring out this stuff. So maybe I'm going to throw like these crocodile style scales in order to help me and the audience figure out like what shape the top of his head is, right? What shape is all this? And it's still light. All the lines are relatively light, as you can tell. They're all relatively light lines. Go over here. Let me throw a little bit thicker lines in certain areas that want to create focus. But this is that stage where it is a little messy and I'm trying to pull it back. And I'm not thinking random anymore. I'm thinking, okay, where, like what would create shadow? What would create focus? Sorry about that. Let me zoom out a little bit. You didn't say I'm thinking. You don't say I'm thinking. I'm kind of thinking in my head for sure, but not like, I don't know what I said. But yeah, you're right. Sorry, it's true. I made a video on that. Okay, so like in the beginning, I'm thinking a little bit more randomly while having a bedrock of knowing what, I have in the back of my head. But at the same time, right here, now you kind of switch into structure mode. It's like, okay, I got the mixed up part before, and now I'm trying to switch into a little bit more militant mode and try to rein myself in. Because if I don't rein myself in, it's going to go wild, you know, it's going to get too out of control. All right, over here. All right, let's see what I'm doing here. Thanks so much for the teddy, Mach. Thank you so much. Or what is that? Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, my phone's like dim, so it's kind of hard to see. Forgive me, but I saw that. That was awesome. You guys are cool. And now I'm going in here and I'm thinking, all right, let's start straightening stuff up. It's like I threw laundry on the floor, and now I gotta fold it. It's kind of one way to think about it. I'm cleaning up my own mess. And the only reason I can do that is because, yeah, I have drawn other stuff like this in the past. It's kind of hard. I wouldn't even recommend doing that on your own. I recommend trying everything in a sketchbook for sure. But I'm just saying I wouldn't, draw like a commission or something right off the bat like that, or something you really want to do. I wouldn't do it that way. Getting a little bit smaller in the lines right here. I'm trying to sort it out. What would the collar be like for this guy? Would he have a collar? He would probably not have a collar, right? It'd be like ye old garments or something like that. It might be a fold over here, but I don't think he would. I just don't think he would wear a collared shirt or anything. I'm trying to think of like olden times, like medieval. I would say medieval. Let's stay with a medieval kind of thing. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. How do you zoom out? I can't zoom out. What pens do you recommend? I have been using the worst. What kind of pens do you use? What do you consider the worst? What's bad about them? Are they dry? Are they too thick? Or is it hard to control? Or this one, the one I'm using is Pilot High Tech C, and they have them on Amazon. They're awesome. They're probably one of the best ones if you really want to get fine little lines and stuff like that. But they don't, as you can tell, you can't just like draw really fast with them. Where certain ones you can just like, you know what I mean? You're just putting them down. This is more like for quasi precise kind of stuff, you know. But like I like brush pens as well. I want to bring a brush pen on here one day to kind of do that a lot more. I think that would be a fun little demo because I don't use brush pens that much. There was a phase where I was using them like crazy, but not always. I'm trying to throw a little bit more obvious cross hatching around here. Not a lot, but a little bit more obvious cross hatching. And as you're doing this sort of stuff, you're evaluating yourself as is, right? You're kind of like, you ever go to somebody else's, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but sometimes you go to someone else's drawing and you can kind of see what's up, like what's incorrect about it. And you're like, oh yeah, I can kind of fix it, you know? And that's how you're doing that with yourself at all times. You're like, okay, I'm trying to reset my head at all times. I'm like, I stand back and I'm like, oh, what's that looking like overall? Like I'll zoom out and I'll be like, well, what is that looking like overall? Is that okay? Is that understandable? Is it going anywhere? Or it's just a sketch, right? So does it really need to go anywhere? There's a lot of those thoughts that go through my head as I'm doing this guy, right? And it's a risk too, right? I'm drawing, I was pretty random, and I don't think I've done that kind of random drawing in a while, but I just felt like doing it this time. I just felt like it was a good idea. And you can always go back and then work on the sketch, work on it, maybe toy with it. All right, let's do another one. Let's zoom out over here. I'll go back to that one later. Let's go over this side. Okay, that dude's just standing there. It's just some dude. What would he be doing, though? I don't know. What would be mildly... Let's give him some armor, this guy over here. All right, let's just draw a dude, right, over here. But his armor might be unique a little bit. And I'm just going to go, like, I'm going to just, what do you call it? Wing it on stuff. So let's go over here. Let's get the eye in there. And I'm thinking, you know what? He's going to have kind of a chill attitude, a chill look. Like he's like, you know what? I'm just sitting here. I'm doing my thing. As we all are, right? Maybe I'll make him give him a little bit of a grumpy cat sort of thing going on. Eyebrows. It's a guy, so you can probably add a lot of structure. You can get away with that sort of thing. I know when you're drawing like female heads, faces, and generally you want to try to stay subtle. That's why I still have issues with female faces and female heads, because it's hard to be subtle sometimes. I feel like I range on the very angular. I err on being very angular and stuff like that. Let's give him a little bit of a shadow underneath there. All right, brow in, out over here, down. It's gonna be over there, just kind of like chilling. Bob Ross. Yeah. Let's give him a chin. Let's give him this Chad jaw. I want to give him a kind of like grumpy, Batman mouth. He's like, what's going on? I'm just here. My job is no good. Maybe he's a guard or something. I don't know what he would be doing. Side of the cheekbone. Let's see. Pulling out over here. Let's make his jaw over here a little bit. Just nothing wild. All right. And let's give him my haircut. Let's give him my hair. He doesn't look like me in the face, but I don't think so. Maybe he could, actually. They always say that you draw your own features into faces subtly. It's a subconscious thing, they say. I think for some people that is so true. For me, at a default, sometimes I do that quite a bit. Let's draw the ear. And let's draw the head over here. A little bit. Yeah, I want a little bit more of an angular head, but whatever. Line down, maybe the back of the hair. You can see it over there. This guy, yeah, it can't be me. He's too muscular. I gotta work out. Line over here. Sternocleidomastoid a little bit there, right? You just do that indication. Adam's apple. Let's see if we can draw a little bit. He looks too boyish in his face. I'm sorry, he's like way over there. Let me zoom in on him a little bit. Yeah, he's got a little bit. He needs an axe or something. Yeah, dude, I was thinking that too. Yeah, maybe after. Let me think of the armor first. I'm gonna wing the armor, by the way, completely wing it. So if I mess it up, you're gonna watch it live. I'm not even gonna pencil it in. I got the body here generally, but I am gonna wing it. Boom. Wham. Thinking broad, simple shapes. I'm like overly confident here because I've been drawing a lot of tech, and I'm like, how hard can armor be, right, compared to tech? Maybe it's super hard. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's ultra hard. So I'm just gonna vaguely, put some shoulder pad over here. And then maybe like a double shoulder pad, which I see in a lot, which it does look nice. I noticed that motif does look pretty cool. And then maybe he's just over here on this side. The chest plate, though, I don't know why. Those chest plates never follow anatomy, but I always do that. This kind of blocky, chest sort of thing. Yeah, let me see this. So, anyways, as far as let's get back to the main talk. Osmosis, right? Being around other people really helps in a subconscious way that you're not really sure of, and yeah, that's always it's always good to do that, and you can kind of get that off the internet a little bit, but it's not going to be the same. And I know some people say this a lot, like, hey, I live in the middle of Nebraska, or I live somewhere, and they're like, I don't know where to find an art group around here. Honestly, worst case scenario, maybe you can make an art group. Like, I've known people to make their own art groups, and it works out. It has worked out, at least. I know you have to be kind of extroverted, and you have to be very. You don't have to be extroverted per se, but you just have to be very organized. Being extroverted does help. Let me tell you something here. I was at a cafe, and somebody randomly just comes up to me and my friend, and we were just like drawing, chatting on our own to ourselves, and somebody comes up to us and says, "Hey, we have an art group here every Tuesday at this cafe. Do you want to, come, like join?" And I was like, "Okay." And that started out with like 4 people, and now the thing's like 40 people or something. It's like an event now. It almost takes over the cafe. It's almost too much, honestly. And that guy, he just started it on his own. That guy, it was wild. It grew. I guess he probably has something on his back, right? Something like that. But I guess it grew just out of this one person, pretty much. So it's amazing what can happen, right? It's amazing like what you can do. And so if you can't find a group of like art friends or anything like that, although I think, to be honest, most places in the city, in the U.S. at least, should be simple. I think there's a lot of people that still like art. And all right, so we got a little bit of armor there. We're at an angle here. He's just standing over like, "What up?" And I'll put like an axe or something later. But exactly. Eminem meets a microphone. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's got my hairdo, but this guy's he's a little more angular than Eminem, right? But you're right. Yeah, he's mellow. And then right here, you have like a good start. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want, I could go in and do some sort of weird, I don't know, crest over here, right? Like put decorations on this. Like I have an okay start, I think. What ideas could I do? I could add complexity to the this armor, especially right here on this flap, right? I could go down, out over here, draw a little bit more. I jacked that up, dang. Well, whatever. It's a sketchbook, whatever. And so there's a whole lot of stuff I could add to it. And so I have like basic armor there, maybe right there. And I'm thinking, what else could I do to it really? Could I add something a little bit more unique over here? Sorry, I keep hitting the camera, the holder. Matrix type. Yeah, like Matrix type. Let me see. So what could I add to him? See, I don't know. I'd have to study more armor there, right? I'd like to put like a crest here, but I just don't know enough about that stuff. I could BS a crest. That's something else you could do. But yeah, try these on your own, by the way, as well. Like this kind of stuff is absolutely helpful, right? The more you draw from your mind, the better you get at it. Also, you want to fill your mind up with stuff. So a lot of this stuff is because I remember motifs in other places and I drew it. I mean, that's kind of the stuff that, it's funny, I say stuff like you gotta do, but I mean, you're going to love doing it. You're going to love studying stuff. Okay, that's my made up little goofy, simple, really ultra simple one. It's not like those. Okay, let's see if we can, oh man, this one I might really screw up. So let's just say, let's make some wiggly thing come out. Oh man, that's going to be bad. So what would that turn into? Let's just say over here. What would that be? Like a little leaf or something? Looks like a little vine. But yeah, that's the thing. There's no rules. You can just do whatever it is that you want, right? You know what? I don't like that at all. But whatever. And the cool part is next time I come to this sketchbook, I can just add on to this even more. This page, right? Which I might do that on live. I might add on to it even more. Let's erase some of the pencil lines underneath. That's just bugging me. And there you go. You just draw on random stuff out of your head. And you're going to find that you're going to get, sorry about that, the camera's moving like crazy. But you're going to find that that stuff's it's going to get easier and easier to do that when you're doing this stuff. Anyways, there's just a couple of sketches to mess around. Thanks for, hanging out for a little bit. I was on here a lot longer than I thought, but that's it. Yeah, hopefully you learned a tiny bit from that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Thank you for everything. I appreciate it.